the next thing are the pumpkins. Put that back. I just start with a orange. Now in this case, this is fondant, it's not gum paste. I just wanted the flowers to be a little bit stronger, and that's why I use the gum paste rather than the fondant. I mean, I could have made those flowers out of fondant also. They just wouldn't be as strong, so when I actually go to place them on the cake, I'd probably have more petal breakage. Not to say that I'm not going to break any petals with the gum paste, it's just less likely than with the fondant. Okay, for this, we just take some orange, roll it into a ball, and I usually like to place it down on a surface. And there's several things you can use. You can use the back of a paintbrush. I usually hold this in the center and come up like this, or you could use a toothpick, you could use a skewer, you know, one of those kitchen skewers, whatever you have around. Just like that. Now it's easier to use a spatula to actually pick this up because it sticks a little bit to the counter. So you could do a whole bunch of these ahead of time, and then I like to go ahead and dust these also. The luster dust I'm using here is just called a yellow. It's actually a little bit lighter yellow than the one we used a minute ago. And think about the pumpkin. Anywhere that sticks out would be slightly lighter, so I use the yellow in that area. And then this other color is one of my favorite fall colors. It's called Spice Pumpkin. Take a little bit of that, and anywhere that goes inward, that would actually be deeper. So what you're doing is you're shading it a little bit. Okay, so if you look at that side and then this side, hopefully on the camera you can see the difference that just coloring it, just that little bit, makes your pumpkins look a lot nicer than if they were just one solid color. Gives them more dimension. Well, and just, you know, doing simple things like that, shading, that could, you know, put you ahead of your, you know, if you have competition in your area, you know, if someone else just does a pumpkin and doesn't do the shading, they're going to know, your customers are going to notice the difference in your work and theirs. Just the subtle bits of color like that make a world of difference. You wouldn't think it until you would actually see, if we did one project with all solid colors and then one that has the ones with the shading on it, you would always pick that cake. Okay, now I've just got some royal icing here, and this is just a tip number 2. You could use a 2, 3, 4, whatever you want. And rather than doing the stem in fondant, which you could certainly do, but it's going to take you a lot longer, I just will take some royal icing and just kind of swirl it a little bit and come up. You can go off to the side if you want, or straight up. I kind of mix them up. Mix them around, some straight up, some off to the side. And voila, your pumpkins. Okay, so I believe that's it for doing that ahead of time. The next thing what we want to do is prepare our cake board. We are going to be doing square cakes, and we're going to cover them in chocolate fondant. We're going to do a 6, 10, and a 14-inch square cake stacked right on top of each other. And I want to place that on a wood board for extra support. Since my bottom cake is a 14-inch, I'm going to put it on an 18-inch board. So I'm going to go get that out, get some chocolate fondant, because we're actually going to cover the board in chocolate fondant. So let me clean this up, go get that, and we'll be right back.